Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Natasha and I am on the way for another road trip. I am going to the Catskills. I am going for the fall foliage. I've been to the Catskills before, but never for the fall foliage, however you say it. That's what I'm going for. I'm only spending a day, even though I have tons of stuff packed. So make sure you follow along. So I definitely have a problem when it comes to packing for road trips. I was supposed to go to the Catskills for just one night and I had all this stuff, but I'm so glad that I did because I ended up staying 2 nights. Make sure you stay to check out the whole video and to see everything that I did. I did pack myself some homemade matcha because I've been spending way too much at Dunkin' Donuts. I'm sure somebody can relate. Also, Dunkin' Donuts matcha over Starbucks any day. That's another topic for another video. Anyway, back to the Catskills. I am coming from the tip of New York City, so it is going to take about 2 hours to get upstate. I did leave on a Sunday and there was some Sunday traffic, so I want to say that it took about 2.5 hours in total. On the way up, I was a little nervous because I was trying to time this trip perfectly according to when the fall foliage would be at its peak. So there's this website called ilovenewyork.com and it predicts how intense the foliage will be in different parts of New York. I did end up going on the 3rd week of October. It looks like it may have been a little more peakier on the 2nd week of October, but I still went anyway. As you can see, my first stop was to Hunter Mountain. I came on the very last day of the scenic Skyride. There really is so many things to do at Hunter Mountain. There's food and drinks for sale, but I came specifically for the scenic Skyride. Because it was the last day, I think there was a lot of people and I did come at about 3 o'clock. So I purchased my lift tickets for $29 each. If we would have come earlier, we would have had the opportunity to get off at the top of the mountain and do a short hike. But because it was after 3:30, we would just come right back around. Now, I am not a heights girl. I don't particularly like heights, but I've been living my fears and facing my fears for the past 5 years. So I figured, you know what? I'm going to do this. I want to do this. I'm going to make it happen. From the bottom, it didn't really seem that bad. But baby, it was pretty bad. I really just wanted it to be over. The ride was about 10 minutes all the way up and 10 minutes to come back down. And it felt like the longest 20 minutes of my life. I didn't get too much footage because I was too busy trying to stay alive, trying to figure out why there weren't seat belts to keep you tucked in. It was just a lot. But I was so happy that I did. I felt super accomplished. But now it was time to head to the resort. Before heading to the resort, Scribner's Lodge was about 2 minutes away from Hunter Mountain, and I just had to stop there because I remember when I worked a production job and I got to stay at Scribner's Lodge and it was absolutely beautiful. Very, very expensive. I was going for a different kind of vibe and I had the pleasure of being hosted at a tiny house resort located in Cairo, New York and about 20 minutes from Hunter Mountain. It was such an amazing place, such a pleasant stay. I have a whole video on everything about a tiny house resort. There were so many activities. I got to see so many houses. Make sure that you check that out. After checking in, we knew that we did not want to be out late, so that's where all the snacks came in. I ended up cooking a full dinner that I brought to the property. This is a quick and easy dinner that I make pretty often, and I did get everything from Costco. The property pretty much had everything that I needed there to make the meal. I started out with the langosto. I added a little salt and pepper, and that was really all of the seasoning that I needed. Next, I added some frozen broccoli, and then I started to boil the water for the pasta. Lastly, I added the already made shrimp scampi. No real need to add anything to it. Just mix it up with the langosto and the broccoli and let everything melt. Then, of course, the pasta only takes a few minutes to cook. This meal is really a gem in my house. If you have kids and you need a quick dinner and you want something fun and tasty, this is it. Let me know if you want me to leave the details in the comments. Time for our adventures for the next day. We were headed to Kaaterskill Falls so that we can take a hike. It was supposed to rain all day. It was about a 20-minute drive from where we were staying in Cairo, New York, back closer towards Hunter Mountain. Before the hike, we stopped by a cafe called Lucky Catskills. We didn't grab a bite to eat, but we did get some coffee. It was super, super cute inside. They had so many items for sale and it wasn't Asian themed. So they had different products, different candies, different types of milk, which was interesting. They had a banana milk and a taro milk and both were really, really good. I had never tasted either. I decided to get the banana milk in my matcha iced latte that I had. I actually think I should have got the taro milk because the taro milk was really good. Kaaterskill Falls was only about 7 minutes from the cafe, and we were ready to begin our hike. There were a few people that arrived when we got there, but we were really going in this blindly. Yes, that is a black bear activity sign, and there are porta potties in the lot that we parked at. We were so lucky that the weather broke, although it did rain at times while we were on the hike, and it was super slippery from the night before. Overall, it wasn't so bad.
I will say that I have been hiking before, but this was like in the woods. This felt like adult hiking, like another level of hiking. It was a little intimidating, but I was definitely up for the challenge. And the challenge it was, in my opinion, personally and humbly, I would say that you would need to be in moderate shape to do this hike. It was downright hard. Of course, you don't have to be extra like me and go to the extents that I went to get certain shots. Like this was ridiculous. I didn't have to do all of this. I really stressed myself out trying to get across this water and these rocks without busting my tail. But on a serious note, you do want to be extremely careful on these mountains. I read countless stories of accidents and even people passing. It can be very, very dangerous. I did get the shot that I wanted though, and it was definitely worth it.
We finally made it to one of the sites, and this was really high above the first waterfall that we saw, and it was absolutely beautiful. What a beautiful and wonderful sight to see. By the way, there are so many different ways that you can go and take throughout the hike. There is no one way. There is no specific way that you have to go, so you really can make up your own rules. We wanted to see all the waterfalls from all the different angles, so we made sure that we went through the mountain very thoroughly. Also, there are signs and markers everywhere. As long as you stay on the trail, you will not get lost. If I didn't get lost, you will not get lost. However, do you see these stairs? This is just a minuscule part of the amount of stairs and walking and climbing that we did. Baby, it is not a joke. Worth every second though. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. This whole experience might not mean a lot to a lot of people, but for me, just being in nature, being able to hear the water, feel the air, breathe the air, all those things, like they excite me. They get me, they keep me going. Like many of you may not know, but I am a cancer survivor. I have been free of cancer for almost 5 years now, and just to live and do life excites me. All right, enough of the mushy stuff and back to the hike. We had a chance to go back to the parking lot, but we decided to go towards the arrow that led us to Layman's Monument. And boy, were we disappointed. This is all it was. Literally a monument. I have no idea who Layman is. And this was the view. It just wasn't worth it to me. In my humble opinion, as I always say. But what are you going to do? After we finished at Layman's Monument, there was a little further that we could go, but we decided to go back to the parking lot. We were hungry. We were tired. And it was still about a half a mile before we would get to the car. We were parked at Scott Road parking lot. That is not the parking lot that the GPS brought us to. The parking lot that the GPS did bring us to was full, so we had to keep going until we found Scott Road, and we did it. We made it. The relief that I felt when I could see the car in the parking lot. This is my Apple Watch, and I know that it's not super accurate, but just to show you, we hiked for 3 hours. We did 4.44 miles. It was work. 1,000 calories plus, baby, it was time to eat. We took about a 30-minute drive to get to the famous Phoenicia diner. We were pressed for time, and they did close at 6 o'clock. And unfortunately, their credit card machine was not working, so we needed to have cash. We had absolutely no cash on us, so we had to go find an ATM and come back. By the time we came back, we felt kind of rushed, weren't sure if there was anything on the menu that we really wanted, so we ended up leaving Phoenicia Diner and going to Alamo Cantina Bar and Grill, which is also connected to a Brio pizza place. There was outside seating and plenty of things to choose from the menu. It was a little crowded. I don't remember what we drank. My friend had a margarita pizza type of thing. It looked so good. I definitely should have ordered a pizza because there was a brick oven, like duh, but I ordered a burger and fries. It wasn't really anything to brag about, but it filled my belly. By the time we left, it was really dark out. I had my high beams on the whole time. I did not want to drive in the dark, but we did it. We made it. The next day, it was time to check out of a tiny house resort. We did some exploring on the property. Make sure you check out that video. This place was such an amazing place to stay. We did some exploring on our way to our last adventure before we would head home. I must say that Catskills is just such a beautiful place to visit. I've been there in the winter, now the fall. I imagine that the summertime is a pretty dope experience too. Just very, very beautiful. Such beautiful scenery and so many things to do. Our last adventure would be an hour away from the Catskills in the town of Kerhunkson. We went to visit Kedler's farms. It is seasonal, so it did close at the end of October. Make sure you check the website for times and dates. I was too excited to come to this farm because really they had everything. Well, I will say one thing that I was disappointed about is that they didn't have fresh apple cider donuts. They said they have fresh donuts, but I wanted donuts that were like coming off the line, like fresh out the grease donuts, but they didn't have that. A $26 ticket included access to all the activities as well as a pumpkin. It was a farmer's market and there was tons of activities to choose from. There were 2 levels of activities to choose from. They had libations for adults. They had wine and beer options. They had a wine slushy machine. Oh my God. So good. And only $10 each. I would say that the activities were geared towards smaller children, but as you can see, adults could enjoy all these activities as well. And again, it was just so many things to choose from. In addition to having the activities, there were animals. They had the cutest little bunny rabbits. I meant to say this early in the video, but make sure you check out my video of where I stayed in the Catskills. I stayed at a tiny house resort. Super cool. I also hope that you found some value in this video or any of the videos that I post about my travel adventures. If so, be sure to hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit the notification bell so that you can be notified every time I post a new video. Back to the animals, there were sheep, goats, lambs, even llamas. I'll be honest, I don't know if those are llamas. I just like saying the word llama. They look like llamas. I don't know. Tell me. Of course, there were all type of fruits and vegetables for sale. We did not eat anything here, but there was a pizza barn. We drove down to the next level to see all the other activities as well as to get our pumpkins. There were different things to pick from, like grapes, and they have hay rides on the weekend. So I wasn't there on the weekend, so didn't get to experience that. The pumpkin patch was huge. There were so many different pumpkins to choose from. Of course, I don't know the first thing about picking a pumpkin, but I definitely made it look like I knew what I was doing. I honestly don't know why I even got a pumpkin because I am not carving it, and the only thing I could think of to make with it is pumpkin soup, and I'm not doing that either. Didn't really matter. I still enjoyed myself, and I still left there with the pumpkin. On the bottom half of the farm, there were still tons of activities to do. There was basketball, chess, hook and ring toss. I don't even know the name of some of these games, but there was just a lot going on. I would definitely say the entertainment was more geared towards the smaller kids. They had a corn maze, they had a 15-minute and a 30-minute maze, and I wasn't interested in either. It was like beautiful and creepy at the same time. Overall, I truly enjoyed my time at Kedler's farm, and I definitely enjoyed my time at the Catskills. Although the farm was an hour from the Catskills, it was still 2 hours from the city. I believe it's a little bit out west, so that's why the timing was off. We played a little basketball before we left. Couldn't buy a basket, but still had so much fun the whole weekend. I do want to thank you again for coming to watch a video, and hope that you would subscribe and hit that notification bell if you found any value in the video. If you have any questions about anything, please do not hesitate to leave them in the comment section. I do try my best to answer all comments that I see. Thanks again so much for watching. Talk soon.